Hi everyone, students and English teachers and literature teachers. Today I have brought to you the novel from Nigerian author Chinua Achebe, Hour of God. It's the third novel of Chinua Achebe, wrote in a year of 1964 after independence of Nigeria. Dear listeners, listen this narration careful, and also you will comment at the end of this narration if you have a question. Okay, listen, my sister from India, Sayal. Sister Sayal from India, you are warm welcome to say something about our beloved novel, Hour of God. My name is teacher Kaligo Dotto Njige, the Manju of Literature and the Young African. That's it. Okay, welcome, Sister Sayal.
Hello everyone. This video is about a novel named Arrow of God, written by Chinua Achebe. It is the third novel of the African trilogy, first being Things Fall Apart and second is The No Longer at Ease. This novel was published in the year 1964 as a part of the influential Heinemann African Writers series. It was first novel ever to receive Jack Campbell New Statement Prize for African Writing in 1965. Moving to the title, the phrase Arrow of God is drawn from an Igbo proverb in which a person or sometimes an event is said to represent the will of God. Further, about the novel, Arrow of God is set in Igbo land in southeastern Nigeria in second decade of 20th century. In the novel, two cultures confront their differences. It shows the effect of the externally imposed power system, that is, the British, has on internally imposed power system, that is, African tradition and customs. The conflict within Igbo society mixing with the repercussion from external invasion result in disaster for the Igbo society. This will lead not only to engulf Western values and beliefs but eventually lead to the loss of Igbo cultural identity. Knowing characters become essential before knowing the novel. So, let's see them. The name of the characters in the novel are from the Igbo language. Bear with my pronunciation as I am not aware of it, and apologies for any mispronounced words. So, the main character of the novel is Ezulu. He is the high priest of Ulu. He is considered as the god that rules Umaro. Being a priest, he always likes to give advice even if people don't seem to pay attention to him. As a chief priest, he is responsible for safeguarding traditions and rituals of the people. For example, he watches each month for the new moon. He eats a sacred yam and beats the ojin to mark the beginning of each new month. Only the chief priest can name the day for the feast of pumpkin leaves or the new yam fest, which leads in the yam harvest. Ezulu considers himself merely a watchman for Ulu. Next is Waka. He is Ezulu's enemy and he is challenging Ulu or criticizing Ulu's high priest throughout the novel. Waka might be power hungry or he might be manipulated by Ezrimili who hopes to destroy Ulu. Next one is T.K. Winterbottom. He is a British district officer, also called as Winterbottom by natives. He simply likes his powerful position, but at the same time he really believes in the African project. He holds high moral standards because he wants to be an example to the Africans around him. Next is Ezrimili. He is chief priest of the god Edimili. Ezedimili has a friendship with Waka and supports him in his attack on Ezulu's character, hoping to destroy Ulu and take over his position. In the novel, Ezulu has 4 sons, named Obika, Odush, Edogo, and Wafo. Obika is the second son of Ezulu, with wife Mefi. He is the irresponsible young man who drinks too much, but he is so handsome that everyone forgets his bad action. He plays an important role in numerous rituals. Next, Odush. He is Ezulu's middle son with wife Ugoy. Ezulu sent him to study Christianity in order to learn wisdom of the white man, but Odush's exposure to another way of life and another god will change him into somebody who never fits in his own culture. Then Edogo. He is Ezulu's oldest son. He is a good-hearted man. He is respectable to his father and fulfill his duty to his family. But deep inside, he does not like the way Ezulu favors Wafo over all his other sons. Wafo is Ezulu's youngest son. He is Ezulu's favorite, and Wafo takes natural interest in Ezulu's priestly duties. The next person to follow is Tony Clark. He is Assistant District Officer and acts as a district officer when Winterbottom is in hospital. He is very obedient to the administration despite his doubt on it. He feels the call of duty to civilize Africa but also believes good of indigenous institution and feels it should be preserved. So he is idealistic and an optimistic. Then Moses Anachuku. By profession, he is an African carpenter and he is first Christian in Umaro, having spent several years on mission station. He is the only man in Umaro who speaks English and so he feels like a local expert. Then Mr. Wright works for the Public Works Department, supervising a new road between Oakperry and Umaro. Unlike Winterbottom, he believes the natives are stupid and lazy and look upon them as subhuman. Next, John Goodcountry. He is a convert from the Niger Delta, who is head of the church in Umaro. He speaks fluent English and Odush admires him. He preaches to his students that they must destroy the false god of their native religion, counseling them to kill sacred animals such as iguana and python. Next character is Akukulia. He is an emissary from Umaro who is sent to Oakperry to announce the war. Then Ogboife Akiobiu. He is Ezulu's old friend and confidant who discourages Ezulu to send Odush to the white man. Other minor characters are Mefi. She is Ezulu's senior wife. Then Ugoy. She is younger wife of Ezulu. Then John Wadika. He and his wife is cook and look after Ezulu during his detention. Next, Akop. She is Ezulu's daughter with disease Okuta, who lives with Ezulu as her husband beats her. Next, Ofudu. He is Obika's never-to-do-well friend. Now, let's begin with the summary of the novel. The novel is set in the rural villages of the Igbo people of colonial Nigeria during the 1920s. The story begins with a bitter conflict between village of Omaro and Oakperry over a land dispute. Though we don't know the boundaries of Oakperry, we do know that Umaro is made up of 6 villages. These 6 villages are linked by the worship of a common god, that is Ulu. Waka, a man of considerable wealth, leads a group of villagers who want to go to war against Oakperry. But Ulu's chief priest, that is Ozulu, opposes them. Still, all 6 villages of Umaro side with Waka and override Ezulu. Akukulia, an emissary from Umaro, is sent to Oakperry to announce the war. After announcement, Akukulia feels as if he is not properly received by the people of Oakperry. So, in a fit of anger, he breaks one of the village's personal god, which in turn leads to the people of Oakberry to kill him. So, this incident ignites open war, yet the fight comes to a sudden end through the involvement of a British colonial district officer called Captain T.K. Winterbottom, who enforces the place by destroying all the guns in Oakberry and Umaro and rules in favor of Oakberry. Later, Ezulu declares on the government hill of Oakberry that people of Umaro had no claim to the Oakberry land, and thus impressing Captain Winterbottom with his lack of biases. In return, the people of Umaro became angry with Ezulu because he did not take their side. After a period of 5 peaceful years, life in Umaro returns to normal. Christian missionaries have now made major inroads into the society, also converting whoever they can and convincing the people that worship of their god is ineffective. Ezulu sends his son Odush to learn the way of whitesman culture by attending church that the missionaries had set up in Umaro. He says, "I have sent you to be my eyes there." For this reason, people blame Ezulu for bringing Britishers to Umaro. Ezulu's old friend Achebe also discourages his decision. Nevertheless, Ezulu sends his son. Meanwhile, the enmity between Ezulu and Waka has grown to the point where men in the two villages try to kill each other using poison. Waka strengthens his position through his friendship with Ezrimili, high priest of the lesser god Edimili, who has long been jealous of Ezulu and Ulu's rising power. Further, Ezrimili's ill will towards Ezulu is worsened when Odush is instructed by Mr. Good Country to kill the sacred python, which is symbol of god Edimili. Odush takes the challenge and tries to kill the python, but at the last minute he loses his nerve and locks it in a box instead. Ezulu discovers the box and releases the python. Despite this, any attempt to move or harm the holy snake is taken as a terrible insult to Edimili. When the news of violation reaches Edimili, he sends a messenger to Ezulu and says through him to purify his house. Means, it is said in order to make up for what his son has tried to do. Ezulu, in response, insults high priest of Edimili and also refuses to do anything special to purify his house. Then, even though everyone in Umaro knows that Odush is responsible for the disrespect of a sacred symbol of Edimili, Ezulu does not punish his son. Therefore, the incident further fuels the divide between Ezulu and his enemies. Shortly after this, T.K. Winterbottom prepares to carry out the British policy of indirect rule, advanced by Lord Lugard, the Governor-General of Nigeria from 1912 to 1919. The policy aims to appoint Africans as puppet leaders. So, Winterbottom decides that Ezulu is the man for this job, and then he sends a messenger to invite Ezulu to Government Hill in Oakberry. Here, Waka draws attention to Ezulu's friendship with white men. The next day, after consulting with the elders and the men of titles in Umaro, Ezulu decides to set up for Oakberry to find out what Winterbottom wanted. While his heart is angry because Umaro continues to blame him for the white man's presence and also because they don't show Ulu proper respect. On the other side, the enemy, Waka, continues to challenge Ulu and the people do nothing about it. Then, Winterbottom sends 2 policemen to see Ezulu. But until they reach his compound, Ezulu has gone to Oakberry. In Oakberry, Winterbottom suddenly becomes ill and is hospitalized. So, Assistant District Officer, that is Tony Clark, detains Ezulu. He makes the offer to Ezulu that British would like to make him a ruler, but Ezulu refuses to do so. He angers the British administration, which in return detains him for 2 more months. On his first night in prison, he has a vision of Waka rising people of Umaro to destroy Ulu. Ezulu sees the people spitting on him and claiming that he is the priest for a dead god. He suddenly realizes that his real battle is with his own people and not with the white men. He recognizes that he is Ulu's arrow of punishment. He believes the people need to be taught a lesson and need to respect Ulu. While imprisoned for several months, he plans the punishment carefully. During his imprisonment, Ezulu cannot eat the sacred yam or announce the new moons. When Ezulu finally returns home, the people of Umaro welcomes him, but he continues to plan his revenge in secret. Here, one thing is interesting that Ezulu tries to separate himself from this revenge. He doesn't see it as a revenge for his own sake, but for Ulu's sake. When the time for announcing the Feast of New Yam comes, he fails to announce it. His assistants come to ask if he has forgotten his duties, but he gets mad and sends them away. The elders of the village ask for the same. In reply, Ezulu tells, because he was gone for so long, there are 3 yams left, which will take 3 months to eat. So until he has finished the sacred yams, he can't name the day for the feast of the new yam. Listening this, people panic. They say after 3 months their crop will be ruined and Umaro will suffer famine. In return, Ezulu replies, you all know our customs. New feast can only be called when there is only 1 yam left from the last one. Today I have 3 and so I know that time has not come. On this, the people began to question the chief priest and asked to alter the customs. The Christian missionary John Goodcountry recognizes this as a good opportunity. He says that anybody who wants to offer the yams to Christian God instead so that they can harvest their yams will receive protection from Christian God as well. As people began to suffer, they do just that. Then, Obika dies suddenly while performing Ogbazula Vodo, the night spirit, in a ritual for funeral. The people takes Obika's death as a sign that Ulu has either punished or removed his priest. So, Ezulu's pride breaks at the end and he wonders if he is really being punished. But he can't find what he did to deserve this punishment. He considers himself following Ulu's will, no matter how much he personally suffered. Ezulu then remains alone and his family too disappears, either because they joined Christianity or they are simply gone. So, that year many of the yams were harvested in the name of Christian God. And the novel ends with the trump of Christianity over traditional Umaro religion. Concluding, in the novel, Chinua Achebe portrays his love and respect for the Igbo people, balanced with an honest representation of their lives, conflicts, and culture. In the last chapter, he says, ultimately, the death of Umaro's God also means the death of Umaro's way of life. The time will come when the people will see what embracing Christianity has done to their culture. Therefore, Arrow of God closes by suggesting the Christianity will triumph over the traditional religion of Umaro. So, that's it for the simple explanation of Arrow of God. See you next time.
Okay, thank you, Sister Sayal from India. I think the listeners and the viewers of my channel understood and learned a lot on the novel of Arrow of God by Chinua Achebe from Nigeria. I would like to inform you to subscribe and share and comment below this video, because if you subscribe, you will get a lot of information about my channel on the issue of little books. Thank you for listening. Thank you. We shall meet the next session, whether play, novel, or poems. Thank you for listening.